On May 6th, 2014, Paul Konerko at Wrigley Field was presented with a number 14 by Jeff Samardzija, that commemorating his number the last year he was going to play ball, and he still has that number 14, and here's a very familiar face to Sox fans.
Well, I'm sure you've heard it a lot lately. You want a new uniform? You want to go downstairs?
I've been in town. I've heard the all the action. Yeah,
you look great.
Thank
you. Playing that hockey, huh?
I have been all the way till I've been here about a month now. Me and the family, we came back, and I said we were going to be spending the summer somewhere else, and it fell through. And I said, let's just go back to Chicago. I've never spent a month and a half straight here with nothing to do. I wanted to play some golf and play some courses I never got to play and all that. So we did it, and it's been great.
Montero. Count 1-1. Well, it's always nice to see you, Paulie. Paulie, of course, that was one of my memorable moments the day he left us. And so many great memories. People, you're still the most asked about player. You know, when I go out and play golf, and go people say, "Tell me about Konerko. Tell me about Konerko." I used to love to watch him hit. And I said, well, he's one of the greatest fastball hitters in the history of the game. It's just that simple. You make 3 good sliders like Arrieta can, and you grab some bench.
Absolutely. I tell guys that all the time. I say, I played the game for 20 years professionally, and here's what I know. I was adequate at best in the field, mostly time below average. There was not one off-speed pitch that I ever felt good on. Get fouled. Oh, I'm going to go right size, wrong shape. Can I say it?
Yeah.
There we go. I tell people, I played 20 years in the game, and I couldn't play defense really, just enough to get by, and felt bet on every pitch, breaking ball, change-up, slider. I said, so you tell me what's important in this game. Getting on that heater, that's what matters. I said, you know, because you got pitchers out there, they're taught to get ahead with it, and you know, you're gonna get fastballs, and even some of the ones that don't want to throw it have an ego enough that they're gonna want to throw it. So I just try to stay ready for that. And that was that.
That's what some of the guys ask me about it. I say you got to cover the fastball.
Always.
You got to cover the fastball, because if they hang it, that's a different story. But when they throw it, I can't name you, Paulie, in all the years I've been in the game. I can't name you 5 guys who I could say were great breaking ball hitters.
Right.
All the great hitters are fastball hitters.
That's absolutely true. I mean, there was a couple guys that would get by, I think, by knowing when to lay off fastballs to get a slider or kind of finagle their ways. But it's tough to have longevity with that, because there's just too many good fastballs out there, and they're going to force you to hit it. And as soon as they know you can't hit it, then look out. They're going to keep pumping it in there.
Montero's retired, went out. Well, since when you came to us, and then the last 3 or 4 years, did you find out that those 7th, 8th, and 9th innings were getting a little tough to hit at?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it used to be when I first got in the league, it was like, hey, let's knock this starter out and get to the bullpen. And then towards the end of my career, we would start hitting around the starter, and everybody would say, hey, guys, take it easy here. Let's let this guy get through the 6th and 7th. Like, let's keep this guy in for one more turnaround. Don't hit him too hard. Yeah, definitely a lot of the great arms. I think it used to be the long guy in the bullpen, or the last 2 guys in the bullpen were kind of guys they would just, you know, journeyman guys that would stay on the team. And then it kind of turned into the high draft pick who didn't really know how to pitch yet, but threw a million miles an hour, and they would keep that guy because he was with the pitching coach and everything. So you'd start getting guys who maybe weren't great, but it's stuff you didn't want to hit off of, you know, and now it's everywhere. The 5th starter.
There's a Kansas City special.
Yes, it is. Behind him. Oh, no.
That'll be a single and an error.
So tomorrow night, Aroldis Chapman, who was just traded from the Yankees to the Cubs, is going to be at the ballpark. Do you miss the challenge of maybe facing 105 plus from him?
I do. I mean, I used to always look out. Again, I said earlier, like, there wasn't too much I could do in this game or I could excel at, but I never feared and never shied away. Anybody who played with me knows that. I wanted guys who threw hard. That was what I looked for. I would look at the rosters, and you know, that's what I look for. So although I know it'd be a battle against him, you know, I always had a pretty good attitude about it. It was pretty much, if he gets me out or he happens to throw one by me, I just kind of fit in with the rest of the guys he's throwing balls by. But I always saw the advantage of, you know, what if I turn one of these around? That's going to be more of a story than if he strikes me out. So I always went in there carefree, and I felt good on it. My swing was short to the ball, and I just, I didn't fear guys throwing hard. I liked it.
Any indelible memories that you have from the Sox-Cubs series, because you played in a lot of them?
Oh, yeah. I think it's great to see the ballpark tonight. There's some electricity here. It's packed. I think the last few years, along with all of Interleague, kind of, gets a little bit worn down. But my years here, especially in the early and mid-2000s, man, it was the best. I mean, it was like a playoff game, if not better than that. Certainly, obviously, those mid-2000 games. Of course, the Barrett game was a highlight / lowlight. Hawk's son got punched in the face. And, but no, I mean, those were great games. We had a good team. They had a good team. It was all. I remember the first one we had. I remember Mike Caruso hit that home run to win the game. We were like, a bunch of young kids, and we swept them on their side. That was a great series. I mean, there's so many great moments.
I had forgotten about that till you mentioned it.
Yeah, there was so many. Every game you could count on a moment. Like, it could have been someone getting hit. It could have been a big homer. It could have been a fight between teammates on the dugout. It could have been really anything. So it's good to see that it looks like it's kind of, at least tonight it feels like it's in the air here. So we'll see the fights in the stands, all that. In the end, it was all great.
I remember when Mags had lost in the Ivy out there. Is he gone? 2 down. And another memory I have is when you got hit in the face and still didn't want to come out of the game.
Yeah, that one I had to. That one I couldn't see anymore out of my eyes. So, but I just remember I believe, and I'll always say this, that it's big for both fan bases, but I feel like it's without question bigger for our fan base. They seem to really dial in on these games, and so, I knew you had to kick it up a level, and these games really mattered. So I was as nervous before these games as any of them.
Outfield straight up, spread out, spaced about equidistant, as here's Bryant. High fly ball deep in the left field. His first at bat.
But that was going out the ballpark, but a great play by Melky. Going up over the wall and catching it and bringing it back in.
Looks like the wind's blowing in tonight, which is kind of odd on a hot summer night. Usually it's blowing out of here, right?
Yeah.
That's not right.
That ball ripped into left field one. So here they're going to hold him now. The good thing they did is they're going to go get him. All right, now come home. There you go. Good throw. He gone. Now he's gone. Yeah.
That's how we drew it up, Hawk.
All right, Paul, you'll be with us for another half inning here.